Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. What is preventing us from simply, naturally being here is our emotional hanging on to the past. There is that whole long story. Nothing wrong with that story, nothing wrong having those memories, but we have the tendency to be emotionally attached to situations, attached to some people, attached to our role that we have played, positive or negative, being very proud when it was good, feeling embarrassed when we made a blunder. All this emotional hanging on to the past keeps that self-image so solid that then it influences all our experiences in the now. How we are reacting to situations emotionally, intellectually, in our actions. It's not that we have to somehow try to get rid of the memories. They are helpful. They are lessons learned or not learned. Our capacity to function sanely from moment to moment is very much connected with all those memories. But that's what it is, a storehouse of information. Very useful. We can pick out whatever is useful in the present moment and then drop it again. But the tendency is that we are hanging on to it, emotionally being attached to it. It's also nothing wrong to sometimes just remember without having a specific use for it. Remember the situation, remember the emotions, remember what has happened. We can learn in the present from those memories. We can learn in the present when we go into it, re-experience the situation, re-experience the emotions. But being attached means that we compulsory go back to certain things again and again and churning it around, getting again emotionally worked up. And all that prevents us from simply being innocently in the now. To simply be naturally here, now, and open. That emotional attachment is preventing us from living the way we could live. where there is that creativity, that inner beauty, wanting to express itself, that the experience can unfold and expand. That holding on to the past emotionally is preventing us from doing so. And what can we do about it? When we become aware that we are dwelling again on something we don't really want to dwell, out of habit, out of compulsion, how we are going round and round, then don't fight it. Let the emotions come, let the memory come, but be here now. Observe what it is doing. See how it is affecting the physical, the energetic, the emotional experience right now. And then relax. Learn to let go. Letting go is that capacity to relax. Letting go, detaching. Traditionally, always they talk about attachment and detachment. Detaching is nothing else but the capacity when it's going up, when these emotions are here, that we can see them. And instead of feeding them and getting more and more tense about it, learn to relax. If you relax that in the present, then the emotional charge that is still stored in the past is reducing. Then that scene that we are busy with and getting emotionally worked up suddenly becomes just a memory. And that memory is not preventing us from naturally being here now. What prevents us is that attachment, that emotional attachment. If we treat the past like this, then all those burdens that we are unnecessarily carrying along with us, they gradually just evaporate. They are simply not more there at the end. The memory is there, but the emotional charge disappears. And then we are free. Then our potential has the possibility to manifest now. The potential has the possibility to unfold. There is so much potential in everyone. If we stop crippling it, then life becomes a mysterious, magnificent story. Externally, the circumstances may not be magnificent, but our experience from moment to moment is unfolding more and more in a magnificent way. That even in the weirdest circumstances, there is that awareness of a profound joyousness that can be experienced stronger and stronger as the time passes, if we just let it happen. Now, a friend from Russia told me her story about she was in a relationship for 5 years with a man, and then 3 years ago they broke up. He initiated that breaking up. They moved on. She has married by this time. Maybe he also has married. And yet, she says, he comes all the time back in her mind. She doesn't want it, she doesn't like it. She wants to move on with her life, and yet that man from the old relationship is coming back in her mind day after day. What to do about it? The thing is, it's most probably not only from your part that it is comes so persistently means that he also thinks of you a lot. And so there is a circle mutually inspiring each other to keep that story, that emotional attached story going. And if you want to be free of it, then don't fight with it, but be alert when it's coming up. Then don't get lost in the memory. Don't get lost in any imagination that comes out of it, emotionally charged, but simply let the thoughts come, let the emotions come, but be very alert here now. See what it is doing to you. See how it is affecting your body. See how it is affecting you energetically. And then simply to relax. The tendency is in such a situation that we get more and more tense. And as we are getting tense there, we are keeping that attachment alive, strengthening it even. So don't fight against the fact that the thoughts are coming back, accept, okay, for the time being, it is like this, but when it comes, simply watch. Watch what it is doing to you right now. And if you can see that, if you clearly perceive how it is affecting your experience, how it has the tendency to create more tensions, and you consciously start to relax, then the power of it gradually disappears. And eventually you will be free of it. And even if from his side the thoughts and the emotions are coming, if you stop playing along and sending it right back to him, then gradually he also loses interest. If you detach from the whole story more and more, then even if from his side also there is certain attachment and it comes back again and again, if he doesn't get fed by your emotion that comes back, then he also will start to lose interest and eventually it's gone. People we have been very close, they may have a special place in our memory for the rest of the life. That is not the problem. The problem is when we are compulsory brooding about it, when we are compulsory thinking about it again and again, maybe day after day, and getting emotionally worked up about it. But if I can accept, okay, it's a past, it's a story. If it comes back, the story, charged with emotions, then let it come, don't fight it. Think the thoughts, feel the emotions, but observe. See how every emotion has an energetic base in these psychophysical manifestations, in this body, energetic body, physical body. There is a energetic base to every emotion, to every thought. And if we get all worked up emotionally, then energetically there is a lot of tensions. But that's what one doesn't like, doesn't want it anymore, because it's a burden. It's a past. We don't want to be free of it. But as long as we are keeping that attachment to those emotions, it's very difficult to overcome such a thing, to grow out of it. But if you accept, okay, there it is, it's still alive, it's still strong, it comes up, not getting lost in the past, not getting lost in a possible future, simply in the present moment, be aware what it is doing to your experience and relax. Breathe and relax. And even if it's not possible to completely relax, just giving the impulse is doing something. Relax your legs, your feet, your shoulders. The whole body starts to relax. If the body relaxes, then energetically also will start to relax. And then the emotions and the thoughts also will start to relax. If it comes, you treat it like that. After some time, it vanishes. Doesn't mean it's completely gone, the habit. Next day, same story may come up again. But if you learn to treat it in such a way, you also losing the fear of it. You're losing the resentment that it's still there. But then when it comes, oh, there it is again. But I can deal with it. That confidence will be growing day by day. Just remember to observe. Okay, the story comes again. I wanted it to be the past finished. But it's still alive, it's still active. Okay, accept that as a fact. And if you accept it, then it's not a big deal when it comes. Okay, there it is. Look what it is doing again, right now, in this psychophysical manifestation, in this present moment. Look what it is doing and relax. Don't feed the emotions. Don't hold on to it. Don't struggle with it. Just accept it's there, observe, relax, and it will fade away. And each time you treat it in such a way, then the power of that story, the power of that habit is reducing. And eventually you're free of it. Be patient with yourself, but go about it consciously, sincerely, and surely it is possible, even strong emotional attachments. One wants to get rid of it, but cannot get rid of it. But if we are treating it like this, then gradually they simply fade away. They're losing their power and you are free. I wish you well. And then I have had another communication with another friend. She has relatively recently been seeing a psychoanalyst. But now she has a doubt whether it's helpful. Over a year, she has been going to him some 8 times, telling her stories, especially about a particular subject. And she wonders, what's the point? Telling, Sometimes he may say a thing that is helpful, but basically she's just telling her story, and somehow he feels he would like to get rid of it, to stop it. Having had indications in dreams also, on the other hand, having had indications in the beginning from the I Ching that this is a good thing to do, now she's in a conflict. I'm not going to tell you, my friend, continue to do this or stop doing this. But from what you have written me, it seems to me clear to me that deep down, actually, you would like to stop it. And then by all means, follow that inner urging. Don't be afraid you're missing chances. If somehow you already have that doubt in your mind that this is helpful, then it is not going to bring much. If you already have a doubt of the depth and the value of it, it's not going to bring you much. Somebody who wants, really is eager to do so, goes to a psychoanalyst, do a psychoanalysis, can very well do that. Usually it goes years and years. But it's not something that we need to do. That is absolutely necessary in order to free ourselves from certain things. And from what you have written to me, it really shines through that basically you feel it's better not to continue. So why not simply do so? Apart from that, it's very expensive. You have to spend your savings. But then you mentioned that on the other hand, you liked to, as it's not in the same place, to do those journeys. Well, if you like to go for a little journey, then by all means, do that once in a while. You don't need the excuse to go to a psychoanalyst for that. You can just decide, all right, I'm going to have a nice time just traveling somewhere. I would like to go once in a while. It may be good. And even if the indication of the I Ching was that this is a good thing to do, maybe it has already fulfilled its purpose, and you cannot take these indications from a media like the I Ching as God's own truth. These are indications, and that which resonates with that we feel is right may be helpful, but does not have to, we don't have to give it the power to direct our life. Just feel here now what is right, what feels right, what is not right, what feels not right. Feel that here now, that and common sense. And then if one gets an impulse from somewhere, fine. If we resonate, we can integrate it and be grateful for that impulse, but we don't have to make those impulses compelling. Now you told also in your retreat, I guess it was a Zen retreat, you were capable of doing 3 hours Satsang every day, but then at home it didn't work out to continue with the same. It's normal. When people go into a community, then there is that support of the community, the whole framework of a retreat that makes it easier to develop, to manifest quite a discipline. Now at home, there are all these other influences. Nobody is there to judge if we don't follow a strict routine except ourselves. So it's not as easy like in a community, in a retreat situation. By all means, have a certain self-discipline. I'm sure it's good for you. But at the same time, you can loosen up a bit. You are not in the same situation like in the retreat. So you can very well reduce a bit that time of sitting if it doesn't come naturally. Don't push yourself too hard. Have every day your time you are sitting. This is certainly very helpful. It gives insight. But then keep on meditating when you are not sitting. Keep on reminding yourself to bring the attention to the present, to be aware of being aware here now, to be aware of being alive here now, and relax in that. Whenever one remembers, just consciously connect and relax. And since in your life story you had period of great discipline, it comes naturally to develop, to manifest a certain self-discipline. And you don't have to throw that away. It's an asset, it's a help. But at the same time, be gentle with yourself. It is not necessary now in your age to do bone-breaking sadhana. Youngsters have that idea that they need to achieve something and then are ready to do all kinds of tremendous things. Just keep a certain discipline that helps the alertness. Keep that alertness the whole day long, as good as you can. But even that, not in a painful way as it is again a new burden, a new heavy job to do, but bring in a sense of playfulness. Whenever you remember, you just connect and relax. No big fuss, no big effort, just be consciously conscious here now and relax. And then if it happens by itself, if it comes naturally, you can very well increase your time of satsang, your time of silently sitting. But if it diminishes, then let it diminish. Simply don't give it up completely. And that you are not in danger to do. So don't torture yourself with self-discipline now. It's not the time to push yourself through certain limits. It's a time to be alert and relaxed. And that can still include the necessary discipline, the daily you sit down, doing nothing else, but being consciously conscious now. But then bring that attitude in all your activities the whole day long. Find an easy middle path for yourself, that you keep your discipline, but you don't unnecessarily push yourself hard. It's not the time to do, not for you, not at this point. Learn to go about it with a playful mood, and then it won't be a problem, it won't be experienced as a heavy burden. I wish you well. Hario, Hario, Hario. All right, my friends. If there is anybody here who would like to come in and say something, you are welcome to do so. Hello,
Hello, Werner.
Lutz. Hello, Lutz.
You just spoke a lot about attachment to happenings in the past versus being just relaxed in the here and now and letting it go. So I want to ask about a different scenario about peak experiences
Hmm.
where we kind of touch some normally not accessible dimension of ourselves and connect with it and base in its light and be very happy about it.
Yeah.
So usually we I think everybody wants to repeat these things when something like this is happening,
Yeah.
and one wants to repeat that. And my experience is that it happens kind of spontaneously, and if I really want it to happen,
Hmm.
it never repeated itself in the same manner.
Yes.
But still, this memory of this peak experience is there,
Hmm.
and kind of assuring me that my higher self really exists, that God's love exists, that a completely different way of being in this world exists. I have experienced it.
Hmm.
So I wonder what is the wise way to deal with that?
Hmm.
Certainly, just wanting to have it again doesn't really work. But still, this wanting to have it again is can maybe support some effort to do something,
Right.
and
Right.
in that way, it's maybe it's helpful, at least kind of signaling to the universe and God and whatever that that was very nice. I would like to go there again. This inner place.
Hmm. The crucial factor is that you said then the tendency is that we want to repeat it. And then we want to do something that it is repeating itself. And when it happened, it was not actually the result of a doing, but somehow, maybe in context with efforts that you made, somehow you were open that it could happen. It did happen. It was not something that you did. And as you didn't do it the first time, it's not possible to do it, that it's happening again, to repeat it. But the mind is having the tendency to do so, and then we can get all worked up that it doesn't work. But the memory is precious. Memory of such experiences is precious. It's an inspiration. What the best we can do is let that memory come, feel that inspiration, and in that way help yourself to make yourself available in the present. Not trying, what did I do exactly that it happened, and if I'm doing the same thing, it's happening again, but more just the inspiration, as you said, you know it's existing. It's not simply a theory because you have the memory of having experienced it, and that memory can be helpful. That if you let that memory just make you open your heart, not trying to achieve something, not trying to repeat something, but simply the inspiration of that experience that is there in the memory. You can use that inspiration in the present moment to just open up. But then at the same time, it's also a matter of surrender, not trying to achieve something. Open up, and then, okay, here I am, it's all yours, how to deal with it. Some people are very much always running after experiences. Other people say, no, 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 experiences, they are distractions, don't go after experiences. They are not the real thing, but experiences on the way that are expensive, they are precious. They are They are a treasure. We just have to learn to make proper use of it, that it doesn't become again a new trap, that we again, the me wants something, but simply the memory of that moment where that me was transcended, was not predominant. That memory can inspire us to open up to that, and then just be there. We cannot order God around. I tried a lot, made always a fool of myself. But we can make ourselves available by opening up. And an inspiration of a past experience can be very helpful.
Yeah, for me, it's like this. If I remember those experiences in one way, they kind of inspire me and yeah, help me to practice and to be open. And but in another way, also I get very sad
Mm.
because I am not there.
Yes.
I feel I'm down. I'm cast into the physical sphere,
Mm.
and it's kind of hard. It's kind of sad. It's kind of limited.
Yes.
Whereas a kind of a touching into the connection with a more expanded energetic space, it's just more free.
Right.
So, and I'm in the physical dimension. I'm somehow sad. I feel like I've fallen.
Mm. May feel like that, but of course, that which is precious cannot really fall. The attention may have slipped away from it, and then it can produce sadness. But then we can use that sadness, observe that sadness, be aware of it, that not letting go, not let the sadness pull us into self-pity, not the sadness, not let the sadness pull us into dark spaces, but actually, if we just embrace that sadness, then it turns into a longing for truth, a longing for freedom. It's there actually in everybody. Most of the time, we are so busy that we are covering up all the time, but deep down, naturally, we know there is so much more to the human experience, that potential is so much greater than what we are experiencing, that longing for that is there. So we can use that sadness wisely to connect with that longing, not to let that sadness, not make that sadness in an excuse to indulge into making the experience even smaller and pitying ourselves and feeling sorry for ourselves. But okay, sadness is there. And connect with that longing for freedom. And then that sadness is not a bad experience anymore. But actually, if we simply leave it there in its purity, then it becomes, even the sadness, even the longing becomes sweet. Because already even if you don't directly experience it, you already get a taste through the longing. That was for a long time my mistake, the lesson I didn't learn, that that longing, that wanting freedom was perfectly fine, but instead of letting it stand by itself and getting pulled along with it, then that was always connected with that personality. Me, I want something, which at the same time created a lot of trouble. And eventually, I learned to let go of that. And then that longing itself is not making us suffer, but the longing in itself becomes sweet. That sadness can make us do funny things that we try to somehow then avoid it, try to overplay it, think to go out and have some entertainment in order to not be aware of it. Nothing wrong if someone does that for a moment, but we cannot do that on and on. It's coming back. So accept the sadness. Become aware that sadness is just a manifestation of that longing to go home. And if we can liberate that longing from that I personality want this. I want to achieve this. I want to get this. I have experience. I want it again. Then that sadness is not a bad experience.
Yeah, thank you. Wise words.
I wish you well. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come in and say something? You are welcome to do so.
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Ravi.
So I've been listening to videos, testimonials of people who have done the Joe Dispenza course. Joe Dispenza, which is, he's all about, he runs workshops, and a lot of the people who attend it are doing the workshops in order to heal. And I guess like what he teaches, I'm practicing anyway, just in my own way, rather than their way and their language. There was one thing that some people report doing, which he recommends. I guess maybe not everybody does this, the technique, one of the techniques he recommends, maybe they just pick and choose. But one of the things that I've heard in the testimonials of some of the people who've healed is that they also, I mean, apart from the fact that they're kind of, I think the main thing is it's about letting go of the personality and just connecting to a space of gratitude or love or appreciation, etc. But one of the things he recommends also is kind of that he talks about visualizing your future, so that your future self of how you want it to be. And he says that by doing that, like the body can't distinguish between what's imagined and what actually it's seeing in that moment. And that can, I guess, has a profound healing impact on the body. And I guess someone who is unwell might just imagine, again, it's all about letting go of that identity also of being unwell and illness consciousness. And so by visualizing it and feeling it, and you feel, but I haven't really practiced that, because one, in some ways I can be visual, like I might visualize Amma, but I guess I haven't been drawn to it because maybe that's not my path. But also maybe it's because I have been unwell for so long that it's hard for me to actually visualize that and how my life would be and how I want it to be and stuff like that. So maybe that's another reason why I should try to do it. What are your thoughts on all of that?
It's certainly a possibility. We are creators. We have that creative power. Everybody has that creative power. So visualizing what you would like your life to be is certainly a strong influence to make it possible that it is like this. Now, I'm not in favor too much to go into that, because we can all go on and improve a bit this and improve a bit that and be visualizing and setting up our life better, and then forgetting a bit about the essence, that which matters more. So you are well instructed to connect as good as you can with your essence. At the same time, there's nothing wrong giving impulses into the current of happenings, impulses that give it a chance that, like an illness, may disappear, without getting obsessive about it, without letting it take first place in your story. But that that if you feel drawn to it, and I guess you are motivated to get better, that you can give that impulse, that intent in one way or another in the current, being aware this is just one aspect and there are other influences, other aspects. But this aspect you can control. You can do something about it, while the other aspects, they are out of control, of personal control. So it's good to remain clear what is that which really matters. That self-realization is number one. That we really become aware what is, and not just making our dream story more and more comfortable. At the same time, nothing wrong using that creative power without getting obsessed about it. Just drop in every now and then a suggestion, a visualization. If you are not for visualization, you can just suggest it, that your general health is improving, that inner healing is flowing into the current and helps your general health to improve. Nothing wrong with that. So go about it in a light, in a playful way, and keep that number one clear, connecting with that one divinity, opening the heart to that, to God, to the self. Compared to that, everything else is some kind of a sideshow. Yeah.
It seems to me, I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, and I that's good. It's good affirmation of what I feel also. So thank you. That the like wh where I feel more drawn to put the impulse as opposed to the visualization is just to remind myself that the divine can um, impact our health like on a cellular level, whereas maybe herbs and all of that can't, it can really create miracles and changes, whereas herbs and other physical stuff can't necessarily do it on that level. But that's the divine could really make those changes. And then sometimes I just remind myself that, and then I connect. Or occasionally I might just remind myself that when I have consistently, like more intensely practice connecting after a period of time, 2-3 weeks, I've seen my health improve. So I know if I continue doing that. So those two things seem to be the things that just help me, seem to be my impulses that sometimes I do. It's not, I'm not obsessive about it, but I find it helpful. And I guess essentially what it's doing is it's just saying you can get better, and it's possible to get better. And that's a really important factor. So the mind movie itself, I guess it's also, maybe I wonder if the advantage, because I'm still trying to work out where I sit with it, it's more about the more power it has is just to remind you that health is to remind you about, to put your focus back on health, which is essentially those impulses. I guess my way of those impulses, I guess I'm saying, feels better than doing this mind movie. Is that enough? And then connecting to the divine, or yeah.
Sure, do it, but in the way that comes natural for you. Dispenza, he comes from the scientific angle, from quantum physics. not
Yeah.
from religion, not, but they meet. And so what he is telling, what he's teaching is helping many people who feel inspired to practice his techniques. You said the divine has that power to create miracles, to influence on the cellular level. Okay, what you maybe can do is also invite that divinity, say, look, here I am. You are most welcome to manifest your divine power.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And just one other thing. It's again, it's probably it's not such a big deal, but you know, I'm assuming other spiritual, like people who practice sadhaks, there's still a little like I'm much more relaxed now in my practice when it comes to connecting. There was a time in my life where um, I was a bit more fixated when I did it. I put a bit more tension to it, and it's still I still connected. But it was there was but it was but it was a bit more like thinking in my head too much and stuff. But it's still, and now I'm much more relaxed. But there's still throughout my day where it's like um, there's I notice some tension or wondering if I'm doing it right or anything like that. I'm assuming everybody goes through that, or is it just a certain amount of people when it comes to when on this path?
Doubts will always come. Am I doing it right? Uh, I must be doing something wrong, otherwise it would manifest already since a long time. These kind of thoughts are bound to come to anybody, some more, some less. And then we just learn not to let them hook in and fester and become stronger and become real obstacles. Then, okay, here now I can connect. I can connect with that source. It's always here. It's that which makes me alive. So it cannot be totally wrong what is happening here. And about the details, we are learning as we are going on.
Sorry, what you said about the details, what did you mean, Werner?
Like when we have a doubt whether we are doing the right thing, it's usually about details of practice. Should I do this or should I do that? Which is better? And most of the time, it doesn't matter at
Yeah,
all. What matters is that we are there
yeah,
with our heart in it, that we really connect. And then it's not a matter of the right technique or the wrong technique or the right way to go about it or not. So that's why I said the details, they are just so by the way, adjusting themselves. We're learning as we are going along.
yeah. And I totally agree with you. I mean, yes, I feel emotional because it's true. It's that sincerity. And yet I still have another question, even though that kind of answers it. And I've asked you this question in the past also. And the last time we spoke, it came up and afterwards. And it's like my mantra is never going to leave me. I just can't see it ever leaving me. It's been such a big part of my life, especially at some point it was all I practiced.
Mm,
And then I kind of more let go. I never said I'm not going to do the mantra, but it was more like just opening my heart, or I mean that happened anyway with the mantra, but I kind of let it became more breath or feeling gratitude or whatever. It just kind of it was spontaneous.
mm,
And also maybe I had some intellectual struggles, some doubts come up around my mantra.
mhm,
And I remember last time you spoke, you said just it is, you can mix and match different things, like say the mantra and feel gratitude or whatever, breath. But it's also good to have one practice, not to chop and change too much.
Mhm.
I find my mantra comes in like there was, and I mentioned in the past, there was a time when I was in bed for a couple of years where the mantra was really there a lot.
Mm.
Um, and now it's kind of like I could make the choice just to keep saying the mantra, and then the energy of that mantra flows, and then it's really easy to be present to it because there's that momentum builds up. But it doesn't, and I must say, when I used to be able to walk more and get out, the mantra would just continuously be with me.
Mm.
It kind of works in with a rhythm of walking. Now, I'm more housebound, and the mantra is definitely a big part of my day. But a lot of the day also, it might not be the mantra. It might
Mm.
just be thank you. Like it's just this sense that the divine is there and there's spontaneous thank you comes up. Um, or some breath, but there's a lot of thank you now. And then it might mix with the mantra too, but it's not one or the other. It
Mm.
chops and changes.
Mm.
And the sincerity is there. The desire to connect is there. Is that enough? Or this question is from the last point, following on from what we spoke last, when you said it's good to have more or less one practice.
Yes, one basic practice, but that doesn't mean you have to do your mantra now on and on for the rest of your life. It's good as you deal with it. Don't throw it away because it has been very helpful in the past. It is helpful in the present. It will be continue to be helpful, but you don't have to now stick to it if spontaneously you feel when you repeating the mantra and then it is fading away, but you're just opening your heart in a way without the mantra, then you can very well let that happen. You need not stand in the way of that. And then when it's not working anymore, and you come back to your mantra and get it get it going again with the mantra.
Yeah. And then so why does Amma, when I read her books, or, she says, say the mantra, just keep saying it with every breath, don't stop. Or
Mm, mm.
maybe I'm misquoting her, but I think I've read that many times in her books. Or
Yes.
say the mantra and visualize the deity at the same time, which I do. I don't necessarily see Amma. Sometimes I do. I try to visualize her form, but
Mm,
for me, it's more the presence.
mm,
But she definitely, I've read a lot, I think, anyway, that she said, keep saying it. So
mm,
how does that work in with my practice where it's always like it's definitely bubbling, it's there, but I
mhm.
go through periods where for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, or for 20 minutes where it's just maybe some gratitude or.
Yes,
And when
yes,
I say saying the mantra, I'm talking about not sitting, but my day to day,
yeah,
always. That's what I'm saying when I say the
right,
mantra.
right. This is all right. I mean, a teacher is saying things sometimes for the public as a general direction, and most of the people, even if she says do your mantra all the time, that may inspire them to do their mantra at least a little. Because not so many people will think and remember and really do their mantra all the time. Or she may also say this kind of advice specific to a person at that time in their life that's the best for them to hear. And you can then not necessarily to the letter take that into your own story. Continue with your mantra as you are doing now. This is fine. Hmm.
And it seems again, it seems to come back to it's the sincerity behind
That is
whatever
the
you
main
do.
thing. That is the main thing. Hmm.
Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome. Hurry on. Hurry on.
Hurry on.
Is there anybody else who would like to come? You're welcome to do so. The last thing Ravi mentioned, that he has read many times like this or like that. This is always a bit a tricky thing when we read the teachings of a great teacher. Like, so many people are quoting Ramana Maharshi. They say, Ramana has said like this. And then they may quote exactly where he said like this to reinforce that they have understood that it's right. That's what Ramana Maharshi said. But a teacher like Ramana is saying that which at the moment flows naturally. Is the right thing to say, is the right thing to hear for those who are there. And sometimes he may be addressing a group, and sometimes he may be addressing an individual and say certain things. And then actually to another individual, he may say something that seems like a total contradiction to what he said to the other one. So this is the thing with reading the teachings of great teachers. A great teacher is saying different things at different times, depending the situation, depending the need of the situation. When we read the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, of Amma, of Ramana Maharshi, of Nisargadatta, then sometimes when you read something, something is very strongly resonating. It's touching the heart. And there, at that moment, this we can take is the teaching I needed to hear. This somehow has been said right now for me. But then there may be a lot of the teachings, we may read through it and it doesn't touch so much. And then we don't have to somehow make it into an obstacle, thinking, but this teacher, that teacher says this, emphasizes a certain thing, maybe repeatedly, and I'm not doing it. Maybe that's a mistake. And then when that doubt comes in, that maybe we are doing wrong, that in itself, that is the mistake. Then that becomes an obstacle. Getting inspiration from teachers and their teachings is a great help. But it's good that we learn also to really listen with the heart. And when it's resonating, then that is inspiring and helpful and can help us to guide in the next steps that we are doing. But we don't have to keep all the teaching always in our head and think, but this one also said like this and said like that. And then creating conflicts in our mind, whether maybe we do everything wrong, maybe we never get anything, maybe I wasted so much time. All those are unnecessary thoughts that instead of helping us, just become more obstacles. All these teachings, they are great. It's good to remember, no teacher can really directly tell the truth. It's always a pointer. It's always a help for the disciple, for the student to open the heart, to open the mind, to connect, to look in the right direction. The truth cannot be defined. It's not that if we read enough definitions, if the teaching is subtle enough that finally it makes click and I understand, you are the truth. And the teaching is directed to help you to look back in yourself, to find that divinity that is always there and never absent. And if we are reading the teachers with this attitude, with an open heart, then many times a teaching really can help us to make a profound step, can help us to open up and let go of something that we are unnecessarily carrying along. But it's good to remember, teachings or words are never adequate. They are just pointers. If the pointer resonates, then it's very helpful. If we can open up the heart to the space where the teaching is coming from, then the teaching is very valuable and helpful. But we don't have to be concerned about every letter of the teachings. Even if we are admiring a teacher greatly, we don't have to stick to every word that the teacher says, because there we can become totally confused, as sometimes there may be blatant contradictions in the teaching, according to the situation, according to what at that moment flew, but what was right, what needed to be said, what needed to be heard. All right, if you want to, there is some more time. If there is anyone who would like to come in, you are welcome to do so. Seems not to be the case. Then let us spend a few minutes just silently connect. Connect with that space we have created. Connect with yourself, with the ascent, with divinity. If you are not on the way outside somewhere, best find a posture where you feel comfortable, where the body doesn't disturb. And then just come home. Just be here now and relax. Relax on all the levels. When thoughts want to pull our attention away, don't fight with it. Don't fight with them. Simply don't get interested in the subject of the thoughts, but redirect the attention. You just consciously, within, without. Let the breath flow very naturally, relaxedly, at ease, at peace. By breathing consciously, you are touching life. You're touching the truth. It is now. It's not the result of a calculation. Just breathe and relax. What we are longing for is here, is now. Accessible right now. Just breathe and relax and be. Thoughts may come back insistently. Wanting attention, pulling the attention away. Just don't get interested. Redirect the attention to simple breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, relax. And you're at home, here, now, timelessly now. And then gently let the attention flow again more in the body. Then start to move a little. And after that, we can go out and be active, all in our different places where we are. But still, we can keep that awareness. What we are looking for is here, is now. Always accessible. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.